The Premier League season is officially upon us. Tomorrow is the first kickoff, Burnley versus Manchester City at Turf Moor, and that means that FPL is also here. I'm going to show you guys my team for match week 1 of Fantasy Premier League, and let's just get right into it. Comment below what you think of my team. If I made some good picks or some bad picks, just just feel free to let me know. And also let me know where your team is for game week 1. I'd love to see what you guys have chosen. My squad is called Sob Story, so bit of a spoiler there. But moving forward, in goal we have Burn Leno. We're just gonna talk about all of them, look at the prices, and just kind of dive into things. 4.5 mil. I think he's great value facing Everton game week 1, and then game week 2 is Brentford. So a bit of a rocky start after game week 1, facing Brentford, facing Arsenal, and then Man City is going to be really tough. But then it's Luton, Crystal Palace, going to get a little easier here as it progresses. It's not going to be the easiest of seasons for Bern Leno, but I think it's a good pickup, honestly. Next is the defense. We have Purvis Estupinian. Very easy start to run in. Just seems like a very kind of a smart player to pick up. Number 1 most picked defender in FPL at the moment. Very cheap, great value. Trippier, he is number 2 most picked. I have him in for game week 1 against Aston Villa. These next 2 games, we'll see how it kind of takes shape, but I don't see him, maybe starting against City. That could be a tough game for Newcastle. But 6.5 mil, I think it's a bit of an overpay, but I think the creativity will speak volumes for itself. Next is Trent Alexander-Arnold. To no surprise, the Liverpool fan picks Trent, and I think Trent's going to have an amazing season. You could say that, game week 1 and game week 3 are pretty tough, and Liverpool does kind of have a tough run in at the very start, 3-2-4, and then it kind of tapers off a bit right around here, and then it'll pick up a bit again. But regardless, I think that Trent is just a really smart option to pick up at the back. You're going to be getting a lot of points from the assists and maybe a clean sheet here and there. So that's why I went with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Next up, we have my midfield. I have Enciso. Enciso did not score a lot of points per match last season, but I think for the value at 5.5 mil, he's going to really light up this season. I think he's going to feature a bit more. And plus, against the likes of Luton, Wolves, West Ham, you'd be silly not to be picking up Brighton players. Next up, we have Eberechi Eze. Sheffield United, game week 1. Fairly comfortable game for Eze, I'd say. 4.2 points per match last season. 6.5 mil, amazing value. I think he's a great pickup. I would recommend him to just about everybody. Not a lot of people will have Crystal Palace players in their squad. So picking up someone like Eze could be a really good, option to kind of have in your squad, especially as a rotational piece. Next up is Mohamed Salah. Salah, one of the more expensive players in FPL, the most expensive midfielder specifically. And I think he's going to have an amazing season. He usually scores. Well, he has a streak of scoring in the first game week. So let's see if he'll keep it up for this upcoming campaign. Fingers crossed on that. Hope I don't jinx it. Probably did. Game week 2 is against Bournemouth. And then you got Newcastle. So same thing as Trent. And Szoboszlai is just a toss-up. You can't really, make any claims on Szoboszlai, but I think he's going to get a lot of assists, a lot of goal contributions. I think he's going to be amazing. And plus, my team's called Sob Story. So, had to go with Szoboszlai. It'd be silly not to. If I was suggesting it to somebody else, I'd suggest maybe swapping Szoboszlai for McAllister. That's something I've considered. McAllister is, I believe, a whole million cheaper. So McAllister will score a lot of points for sure, but I think Szoboszlai will probably end up scoring more. Next up is the attack, and then we're going to move on to the bench. And my attack is João Pedro, Julian Alvarez, and Erling Haaland. João Pedro, last played in the Premier League for Watford. Now he's at Brighton. He's been starting a lot of these preseason games. He's a big prospect for Brighton. It's an easy run in. And he's 5.5 mil. Very good value. 3%. He's third for attackers. So, like, it's Haaland, somebody else, and then João Pedro. So, that's pretty insane. Julian Alvarez is 19th. I think he's going to feature a lot for City this season. He didn't put up a lot of points per match last season, but I think he's really going to come into his own. I think he'll score a lot of goals. I think he's going to be a mainstay for the City attack moving forward this season. And hey, I think he's just a really talented player. Haaland needs no introduction. So, like, no one's surprised. I obviously had to go with Haaland. He is unreal in FPL. 14 mil is crazy. A lot of money. But 7.8 points per match is pretty good. So, going to have to go with Haaland. And finally, my bench. In goal, I have Alfonso Areola. My backup defenders are Ben Mee and Levi Colwill. And I have a backup midfielder in Cole Palmer. I'm going to explain everybody very quickly. Areola, he might, take over the reign of number one goalie for Fabianski. He's, number one for goalies in terms of teams selected by. So I think he'll do fairly well. Levi Colwill, a player who is, very promising for Chelsea. Going to start for Chelsea maybe throughout the course of the season. I'm not sure if he's going to start game week 1 against Liverpool, but even then, I think he's not going to keep a clean sheet. But for 4.5 mil, he is a very good defensive option for, rotating and kind of having at your disposal to swap in and out. Plus, he's very creative and gets a lot of assists. Next, we have Cole Palmer, another roll of the dice similar to Szoboszlai. I think he's going to feature a lot. And for 5 million, why not? I need to fill the squad out anyways. I could see him, playing down on the right wing or as a center forward. It really depends. Not a lot of people have selected him. So if Cole Palmer has like a breakout season this year, which he could, he's going to be an awesome pickup for me, I think. And I'm just going to have him on the bench for the time being because while he might feature against Burnley, I think both Haaland and Alvarez will play the opening weekend, and Cole Palmer might feature. He might get a goal and assist, but I think both of these guys will also contribute. And finally, Ben Mee, 3.9 points per match last season. A bit of a rocky start to the season. Spurs at home is going to be a slightly different squad or slightly difficult challenge for them, but Fulham, Palace, Bournemouth, not too bad. Newcastle's bad, but then Everton, Nottingham Forest. I feel like eventually Ben Mee will, he'll be in my starting lineup and then he won't. And it's going to kind of have to be like that. But I think he will put up a ton of points for me this season. Hopefully that Brentford defense alongside, maybe Nathan Collins can kind of step up and go to the next level and keep some more clean sheets. That would be huge. But yeah, that is my squad as it stands. My entire FPL team for game week 1. Let me know what you think of my choices. Did I make the right choices? Did I make some grave errors? Just comment down below. Also, let me know what is your FPL team for game week 1 of the 23-24 Premier League season. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, consider giving a thumbs up and subscribe for all your Premier League, FPL, and general football content needs here on the Sideline Sedo YouTube channel. Thanks again so much for watching. I'm Sideline Sedo. Peace.